right now on 18 Eyewitness News.
Members of Congress are pushing back against the president's call for reform at the NSA. Also, dozens of other cities fight for fiscal survival. Plus, Attorney General Eric Holder is changing how the Justice Department prosecutes nonviolent drug offenders. And I'll have the details for chances of some more thunderstorms this week. For coverage you can count on, 18 Eyewitness News starts right now.
18 Eyewitness News starts now.
Members of Congress are pushing back against the president's call for reform at the NSA. Thank you for joining us on 18 Eyewitness News. I'm Dustin Kopp. Our top story at this hour, he says the changes will make the National Security Agency surveillance programs more transparent. But critics say the changes don't go far enough and really aren't changes at all. Efren Graham has more.
It's not enough for me as president to have confidence in these programs. The American people need to have confidence in them as well.
The president wants a new civil liberties officer at the NSA and a commission to review intelligence programs like collecting telephone records with Congress. But some leaders do not believe that's enough.
We need to ask questions like, why did Mr. Snowden have access to the information that he had to? It couldn't have been part of his job. What about congressional oversight? Have we had a failure there? And clearly, Mr. Snowden's being granted asylum in Russia is a signal of incredibly bad relations between the United States.
Even Democrat Congressman Jim Clyburn, who has supported the president's stand on the NSA program in the past, said it's important to send the country and the president a message that, quote, this is something that we cannot allow you to just have a blank check on. Still, former NSA and CIA Director Michael Hayden issued a word of caution to the American people.
The president is trying to take some steps to make the American people more comfortable about what it is we're doing. That's going to be hard because, frankly, Bob, some steps to make Americans more comfortable will actually make Americans less safe.
Snowden's father also responded to the speech saying his son is not a traitor. But Lon Snowden also said that while he believes in the American justice system, he isn't sure his son could get a fair trial.
As a father, I want my son to come home if I believe that the justice system that we should be afforded as Americans is going to be applied correctly. What I would say is that my son has spoken the truth. He has sacrificed more than either the President of the United States or Peter King have ever in their political careers.
That was Efren Graham reporting. Now, while Edward Snowden's leaks have been a huge headache for the Obama administration, the president insists Snowden is not the reason for his call and changes at the NSA. The Reynolds County Sheriff's Department says the 6-year-old girl drowned Sunday in Black River. The Missouri State Highway Patrol reports that the girl became trapped underneath a log while swimming at the Johnson Shut-In State Park. She was flown to a hospital in Iron County where she was pronounced dead at around 5:30 p.m. 18 Eyewitness News will continue to follow this developing story and bring you any new information on our website, KDKZ18.com. Well, the iPhone 5S release date could be as early as September 10th. Apple is expected to unveil and launch the new device on that date. It is not confirmed that if a new low-cost model would be introduced on the same date. A rumored name for the cheaper version is the iPhone 5C, which is thought to have an abbreviation for iPhone 5 Color. New high-res photos of what could be the low-cost iPhone surfaced on the internet last week. Apple is already expected to discontinue the lower-end models such as iPhone 4 and iPhone 4S in order to make way for the cheaper Lightning-based replacement that will allow the company to standardize its current 30-pin connector. However, the end of the iPhone 5 was something that was not expected since it introduced the new wire connections in 2012. Law enforcement officials are turning to an old tactic to crack down on drug dealers, reviving rarely used laws so they can charge dealers with the deaths of overdose victims. This comes as heroin deaths have been skyrocketing. The number of people who died of overdoses linked to heroin jumped 55% from 2000 to 2010. Prosecutors say technology is making it easier to track down the dealers because overdose victims leave a trail of text messages and calls on their cell phones. More rain over the weekend prompted some flooding issues throughout the 18 Eyewitness News viewing area. After last week's rains, anything added over the weekend just caused some problems in Iron and Reynolds counties. Rainfall early Saturday morning prompted the National Weather Service to issue flash flood warnings in these two counties. Flooding was reported on Highway 49 near Glover, with several feet of water over the highway, as well as some flooding in the Annapolis area. Anytime severe weather moves through the area, we have you covered with the latest watches and warnings, as well as interactive radars and road closure maps on our website, which is KDKZ18.com. Temperatures across the board right now definitely on the mild side. 81 in St. Genevieve and Fredericktown, as well as in Piedmont. Ironton at 80 right now, as well as in Ellington. Cape Girardeau at 82. A little bit cooler in Potosi at 78 degrees as that rainfall pushed through earlier this afternoon. We saw those temperatures drop off just a little bit. Let's take a look at that forecast for tonight. We do have a chance of isolated thunderstorms throughout the area. 80 degrees at 7 p.m., 76 by 9. By midnight down to 73. Will we continue to see thunderstorms the rest of the week? I'll give you all the details you need coming up later in your Storm Tracker weather forecast. And when we come back, dozens of other cities fight for fiscal survival. You're watching 18 Eyewitness News, coverage you can count on.
When you're recovering from a traumatic injury, the last thing you need is an unexpected bill. Because most health insurers pay only a part of air transport, Archer Medical has a solution, the Omni Advantage program. For a membership fee of $49 per year, Omni Advantage guarantees you and other covered family members will not have to pay anything that your health insurer doesn't provide. In an extraordinary emergency, the last thing you need to worry about is cost. Contact Archer Medical or visit them on the web to discover all the advantages of Omni Advantage.
You're watching 18 Eyewitness News with Fred Dawkins and Dustin Kopp. 18 Eyewitness News continues.
Welcome back to 18 Eyewitness News. Detroit may be the largest city in America to go bankrupt, but it's not alone. Dozens of other cities fight for fiscal survival. Crucial infrastructure upgrades are being pushed to the side. Caitlin Burke has more.
Across the country, more and more cities struggle to pay their bills. Obligations from payroll to healthcare to pension funds squeeze already shrinking budgets.
But there is a solution, a way to make those desperately needed infrastructure updates without using government money. It's called public-private partnerships.
Critical infrastructure projects often get sidelined. The result? Crumbling highways, outdated water systems, and electric grids that can't keep up.
Under a partnership, private sector will come and do the investment, so it's not on the books of the public sector. It's a private sector debt.
Richard Norman says these partnerships can improve the quality of a wide range of services.
We use partnerships for transportation, that's an obvious one. But for energy systems, water systems, real estate and economic development, housing, hospitals, schools, I mean, it's almost endless supply.
Poor maintenance contributes to that growing need, and new building projects rarely make it to a city's drawing board. Private investors can replace that aging infrastructure and provide state-of-the-art services. There's a big need in New York City. Engineer Mitch Simpler calls the Big Apple's electrical infrastructure insufficient.
Con Ed has the same issue that the rest of the utilities have, which is, they had never envisioned the kind of electrical growth that the city has experienced. And the good news is the city is growing. We are building more buildings, all of whom need a significant amount of power, and Con Ed is doing their very best to deliver it. But it's a finite resource, and their infrastructure has finite capabilities. Because of all that, their utility rates are extraordinary. And it's, again, because of the rates that they have to charge to cover this infrastructure upgrade, not making it more reliable, more robust, simply to be able to keep pace with the increasing demand.
Former New York Governor George Pataki says the stage is set for private investors to step in with financially effective solutions.
What I hope we do far more of in New York and in the country going forward is empower private companies with tremendous expertise, and not just the expertise, but also billions of dollars that they want to invest in infrastructure projects to work with the public sector to come up with both financially better, more effective, and quicker solutions to the infrastructure problem.
The need exists, and the private funding is there. Now it's up to state and local leaders to get on board and take advantage of the opportunity. Caitlin Burke, CBN News, Washington.
The New Beginnings Community Services Inc. in Park Hills is continuing to offer grief and loss services. Kathy Grogan tells 18 Eyewitness News that these groups have been around for a long time, more than a decade to be exact. Kathy tells us that at least 5,000 people have come through these groups. So many people have come through that the group had to expand.
When we started the group, our intention was to meet once a month, and just almost immediately the group wanted to make it once a week, so we did. Within just a few months, that group was too large. So we sprung off and started a second group. The first group was an evening group. We started a day group. That met weekly, so what was intended to be 12 times a year is over 100 times a year now.
To see a list of the groups offered by the New Beginnings Community Services Inc., visit our website, KDKZ18.com. The White House is calling for increased spending on the nation's electric power system. The cost of weather-related power outages is on the rise as storms in the U.S. grow more severe and the electric grid gets older. The White House says spending money to make the grid stronger and more flexible will save the economy billions. Power outages cost around $18 to $33 billion per year. Thunderstorms, hurricanes, blizzards, and other extreme weather caused about 58% of all outages since 2002. A clown wearing a President Barack Obama mask appeared at a Missouri State Fair rodeo this weekend, and the announcer asked enthusiastic spectators if they wanted to see, quote, Obama run down by a bull. The antics led the state's second highest ranking official, Lieutenant Governor Peter Kinder, to denounce the performance in a tweet Sunday. He said it was disrespectful to the president. He also tweeted, "We are better than this." State Fair officials said the show in Sedalia was inappropriate and does not reflect the opinions or standards of the fair. In a statement released on Sunday, officials said, "We strive to be a family-friendly event and regret that the Saturday's rodeo badly missed that mark." It wasn't clear if any action will be taken against the performers. Up next on 18 Eyewitness News, Attorney General Eric Holder is changing how the Justice Department prosecutes nonviolent drug offenders. Details on that story when 18 Eyewitness News returns. This is coverage you can count on.
We all need to take responsibility in our lives and start thinking about how do we want to be treated at the end of our lives. I would definitely say Serenity Hospice Care is an expert in their field. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, there's help a phone call away. If it were me and I was diagnosed with a terminal illness, absolutely, I would choose Serenity Hospice Care.
As I get ready to go into surgery, I remind myself what it's about. It's about God. It's about caring. It's about trust. It's about respect. It's about back pain. It's about neck pain. It's about questions. It's about answers. It's about people, not just patients. It's about you. It's about us. It is Heartland Spine. Changing lives, saving lives. That's what we do.
Welcome back to 18 Eyewitness News. A federal judge has ruled that New York's controversial stop and frisk policy violates the constitutional rights of minorities. Police have stopped some 5 million people under the policy, which was put into place about a decade ago. Black and Hispanic men make up the largest number of stops. On Monday, Judge Shira Scheinlin said the policy encourages police to practice indirect racial profiling. Her ruling centers on the case of 4 men who say they were unfairly targeted by police because of their race. But New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg argued that the policy has helped fight crime and save lives.
Stop, question, frisk has saved countless lives, and we know that most of those lives saved, based on the statistics, have been Black and Hispanic young men.
Bloomberg vowed to appeal the decision, saying that the judge displayed a disturbing disregard for the good intentions of police officers. Judge Shineland did not end the policy. Instead, she appointed an independent monitor to oversee changes in how the stop and frisk policy is carried out. The government has reported a $97.6 billion deficit for July, but remains on track to post its lowest annual budget gap in 5 years. July's figure raises the deficit so far for the 2013 budget year to $607.4 billion, the government says. That's 37.6% below the $973.8 billion deficit for the first 10 months of the 2012 budget year. The Congressional Budget Office forecasts that the annual deficit will be $670 billion when the budget year ends September 30th, for far below last year's $1.09 trillion. It would mark the first year that the gap between spending and revenue has been below $1 trillion since 2008. Steady economic growth, higher taxes, lower government spending, and increased dividends from mortgage giants Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have helped shrink the deficit. A mystery that first gripped emergency workers and then people everywhere has been solved. Last week, a priest seemed to come out of nowhere at a car crash here in Missouri. First responders were struggling to remove 19-year-old Katie Lenz from her badly mangled car. She was severely injured and at the time was running out. Lenz asked the workers to pause and pray out loud for her. That's when a mystery priest appeared, though the road had been cordoned off. The Roman Catholic Diocese of Jefferson City said Reverend Patrick Dowling was that man.
I didn't hide, and I just stood there waiting, praying. It is Almighty God who intervened, because there was something exceptional there in the manner of her rescue.
Shortly afterward, workers were able to free Lenz from the car. She was rushed to a hospital in critical condition, but the priest was gone, sparking rumors of an angel. When we come back, I'll have your latest storm tracker weather forecast. Looks like some sun's on the way. Details when we come back.
More than 70% of the U.S. experience back or neck pain within our lifetime. For many, it goes away within 4 to 6 weeks, but some require more than just time. If you need help treating your back or neck pain, contact Dr. Frank Hayward at Heartland Spine Institute. Dr. Hayward is the area's expert in minimally invasive and laser spine surgery. Tiny incision, big results. Changing lives, saving lives. That's what we do.
Here is your Storm Tracker forecast.
And welcome back. Cloudy skies out there right now, and a temperature of 82 degrees, but it feels like 76 out there, giving us our current dew point at 71, 70% humidity and a west wind at about 3 miles per hour. Throughout the area, we're continuing to see these temperatures not too bad out there. On the cool end of the warm side, 81 right now in St. Genevieve, Fredericktown 81 degrees, as well as in Piedmont, Ellington at 80, a little bit cooler in Potosi at 78 degrees. Let's take a look at those temperatures across the state of Missouri. They're not too bad as well. 77 in Columbia, 81 in St. Louis, 77 in Springfield, and 81 right now in Kansas City. Weather headlines show that we will continue to see these showers and thunderstorms possible on Tuesday. Sunshine for Wednesday moving in, and it looks like those temperatures will be below normal, and I'll show you that in the 7-day forecast. Let's take a look at your forecast for your Tuesday. I'm trying to think Wednesday, but we have one more day to get to until Wednesday. But there are showers and thunderstorms, especially down to our south. Southern portions of Missouri could see these showers and thunderstorms. Could be heavy at times, otherwise on the cloudy side. Let's take a look at that forecast for tonight. Scattered thunderstorms possible. Low 64 to 69, light to variable winds. For tomorrow, still seeing that chance of some showers and thunderstorms throughout the area. Isolated in nature, 81 to 85. The big 7-day forecast shows more thunderstorms again for your Tuesday. However, after Tuesday, we're clearing things out. Plenty of sunshine for the rest of the week. Temperatures in the upper 70s rather on Wednesday and Thursday. Near 80 on Friday. Low 80s on Saturday. Sunday, upper 70s and low 80s on Monday. Really beautiful forecast coming up after Tuesday. Don't forget, you can get the latest weather information on our website. That's KDKZ18.com.
I'm Stacy Johnson. Flying anytime soon? Before you check in, check out some tips to get the best seat on the plane. They're just ahead on Money Talks News.
Get your latest Storm Tracker weather forecast daily on the radio. Froggy 96, 95.9 FM, and Kickin' Country 105, 104.9 FM.
We all need to take responsibility in our lives and start thinking about how do we want to be treated at the end of our lives. I would definitely say Serenity Hospice Care is an expert in their field. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, there's help a phone call away. If it were me and I was diagnosed with a terminal illness, absolutely, I would choose Serenity Hospice Care.
Here's Melinda Myers with this week's gardening tip.
I'm often asked how many evergreens are needed to block the view of the neighbor, and they usually want the screen to run from the front curb to the back alley. And even though a wall of arborvitae like this provide year-round screening, you may want to mix it up for a bit of seasonal change. Plus, if one of these shrubs were to die, how do you fill in the void left by that one dead arborvitae? A mixed border filled with trees, shorter shrubs, and perennials provides year-round beauty. For narrow areas, consider a vine-covered trellis. Here, a section of an old iron fence has been converted into a trellis for the shade-tolerant 5-leaf Akebia vine. And add a bit of privacy to your deck or patio. This creative arbor supports a vine and artwork for screening. Add a few containers to complete this beautiful privacy screen. I'm Melinda Myers. Check out our website for this and other gardening tips.
Airline travel comes with lots of choices, and some directly affect your comfort. Money expert Stacy Johnson has some tips to help get the best seat for your money.
It's no secret that airline seats are shrinking. According to FareCompare.com, the average seat had 32 inches of legroom a few years ago, now 31. But not all the seats in coach are alike. For example, did you know that with many planes, the seats actually get a little narrower at the back of the plane? Before you book your next flight, use these tips to fight for every inch. First, use a seat site for research. Example, here's the plane I'm taking today. SeatExpert.com offers a color-coded map. Green is best, but there are user-reviewed issues with seats in yellow, orange, and red. Next tip, try a travel agent. Sure, they cost money, $25 to $30, but the last time I used one, they got me a premium seat free, offsetting their cost. Stuck in a middle seat? Sites like ExpertFlyer.com will automatically notify you if a better seat opens up. And speaking of middle seats, if you're flying as a couple in a 3-seat row, take the aisle and window. If the middle seat goes unoccupied, you win. Not happy with your seat? Then go to the airline's website as soon as you can check in, typically 24 hours before the flight departs. That's when all the seats are released, everything's up for grabs. And if all else fails, you can normally buy a better seat, but use the seat sites to see what you're going to get for that extra money. Oh, and one more tip. Sometimes just being super friendly to a gate or ticket agent can help. Hey, it can't hurt. Right, Frank?
That's right.
All right then. Want more travel tips? I've got them waiting for you right here at MoneyTalksNews.com. And do a search for travel. For Money Talks News, I'm Stacy Johnson.
As Stacy said, he's got more information and links at his website. To get there, just go to our website, KDKZ18.com, and click on the Money Talks link under the Lifestyles menu. We'll be right back.
When you're recovering from a traumatic injury, the last thing you need is an unexpected bill. Because most health insurers pay only a part of air transport, Archair Medical has a solution, the Omni Advantage program. For a membership fee of $49 per year, Omni Advantage guarantees you and other covered family members will not have to pay anything that your health insurer doesn't provide. In an extraordinary emergency, the last thing you need to worry about is cost. Contact Archair Medical or visit them on the web to discover all the advantages of Omni Advantage.
In today's Your Health, it happens every time you pet a puppy or bite into that delicious dessert. Whether you have a positive experience, your brain releases a chemical known as dopamine, which acts as a kind of reward for your actions. And now scientists are testing it in a remarkable new way in the battle against cancer. Clark Powell has the details.
For more than 4 years, Sandra Stockhorst battled cancer and says besides her faith in God, it was often the love for her horses that kept her going.
Yeah, they were a huge motivation. I'm going to walk to the barn today.
I'm going to groom a horse today.
Scientists say horses were both a comfort and a motivation for Sandra, thanks in part to a lifelong love of the animals and because of a chemical in her brain known as dopamine. Doctors have known for decades that dopamine acts as a reward chemical in the brain.
But we were first to find out that dopamine has also some very important role in tumors.
And it's a role that could be vital. In animal lab tests, Dr. Sujit Basu and his team at Ohio State's James Cancer Hospital injected dopamine into cancer tumors and noticed vastly improved blood flow into the tumor tissue. And in cases like Sandra's, that could be crucial.
There's not the blood flow to the area where the cancer is like there is to a normal organ or something like that, and that was a big challenge.
But when dopamine was used, Dr. Basu was able to more than double the amount of medicine that got into tumors. That could make chemotherapy and radiation treatments much more effective, and by using dopamine, extremely efficient.
Another most important thing is dopamine costs 33 cents. So when you compare with the drugs being used in the clinics nowadays, it's really, really inexpensive.
But could someday prove to be invaluable to those who need it most. At Ohio State's James Cancer Hospital, this is Clark Powell reporting.
Dr. Basu says his experiments focused on colon and prostate tumors, but there is reason to believe dopamine could play a role in helping to treat several types of cancer. Since dopamine has been used as a medicine for years, and since it doesn't harm healthy cells, researchers hope to test the concept of humans soon. The study is published by the National Academy of Sciences. That is today's Your Health. We'll be right back.
When you're recovering from a traumatic injury, the last thing you need is an unexpected bill. Because most health insurers pay only a part of air transport, Archair Medical has a solution, the Omni Advantage program. For a membership fee of $49 per year, Omni Advantage guarantees you and other covered family members will not have to pay anything that your health insurer doesn't provide. In an extraordinary emergency, the last thing you need to worry about is cost. Contact Archair Medical or visit them on the web to discover all the advantages of Omni Advantage.
Thank you so much for joining us on 18 Eyewitness News. Stay connected with us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week by visiting our website. That's KDKZ18.com. We'll see you next time right back here on 18 Eyewitness News.
When you see news happening in your area, let us know about it. You can call our news department at 573-701-9590 or email us at news@DawkinsBroadcastGroup.com.